It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Okay, I'm in a good mood kicking off the podcast today. Wednesday edition. No Monday edition. We'll get into why that was in a second. A fairly valid excuse, I think. We're gonna see if it's a fairly valid excuse. We'll talk about that. Today, I'm going to talk about this last weekend, and we're going to talk friendship, motivate. I'm a terrible motivator. I'm not a good motivator. I don't do that. But I'm going to try to motivate you to do something, and then just kind of give a shout out. There's a little bit of sports we got to touch on, just a wee little bit of sports we got to touch on, and there's something I'm very excited about happening, and I got more excited about it this morning. So we'll talk about that today. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it very much, whether you're listening on your favorite podcast platform or watching on YouTube, where you can see some H2O. Shout out to my brother-in-law, Reed, who this is a David Robinson McDonald's Dream Team Cup, number 9 of 10 in the Collector Cup series from 1992. The Dream Team. Reed bought me the whole set for my birthday. And Rito, you don't listen, but I use these cups every day. I've got one in my office. I've got John Stockton in my office. I use that every day for water at work. And then I use these at home. I go through all the different guys. I use them every single day. I love them. One of my favorite gifts I've got. So thank you, Rito, for some plastic cups that mean a lot to me. Okay, I'm in a great mood. I just got back. We're going to do this quick. I'm not sitting here to bore you with my nerd stuff, but I just got back from Tuesday night Dungeons and Dragons with the D&D group. Shout out to the fine folk there. Kristen, Matt, Lindsay, Zach, Jacob. Mamie wasn't there tonight, but shout out to her for making my Wednesday nights great. Go do that every Tuesday night. And one of the reasons I bring that up, one, I'm in a great mood from it. I come back from it fired up. You know, a couple things. If I really like a hobby, it fires up my endorphins. When I get done with basketball, the feeling I get when I'm done with hoops, I'm tired, but I'm just like wound up. It takes me a while to go to bed. I'm replaying everything in my head from the basketball game. That's the same thing with Dungeons and Dragons on Tuesdays. I'm driving home. I'm fired up. I replay everything in my head. I'm like getting excited for next week. It's just fun, man. I love having hobbies that I love doing and doing them. And I bring that up because, again, I gave the shout out to the people who are in the group who I really like. And this is one of those things. I moved to Lexington. I've told this story before, so I'll make it brief. I moved to Lexington, knew no one, right? I'm leaving a big web of friends back in Spokane. And the first things I did when I got here, I wanted to find people to play basketball with, and I wanted to find a Dungeons and Dragons group. So my sister-in-law's hooked me up by knowing some people in the hoops world, and I got in a great Monday night open gym that's been phenomenal. Love it. Mike plays in it now, so that's been just such a fun thing. And then I went to Meetup, and this is why I bring it up. I went to meetup.com, and I looked up Dungeons and Dragons, and I found a bunch of groups that play weekly, and I just signed up for one. And I went to it. The guy didn't have space for me, but I just went, and I said I want to watch a game just to see if I could see some people and maybe see some faces. And it forced me to meet people. And it was just such a great thing because it forced me to meet people that are into something that I'm into. And like, they're people that I really like. Like, if at any point, anyone from the Tuesday night D&D group was like, hey, dude, do you want to go get drinks? I'd be like, absolutely. A couple of them might be like, are you old enough to drink? But otherwise, it'd be absolutely, I'm in. But I totally hang out. Same with the basketball guys, right? If any of these guys that I just met a year and a half ago, if they text me and they're like, hey, dude, you want to go out to dinner or whatever? I'm in. I'm all the way in. It's just great to have met people. And I guess I bring that up, and maybe this is a little bit of the motivation I've talked about before. If you have the feeling inside of you that you don't know anyone. Now, I get it. I'm a little extroverted. And by a little, I'm pretty extroverted when I get into a situation. But I don't think that, I think you can get into this world where you have something you're passionate about. Shooting guns, crocheting, bowling, eating ice cream. There's so many groups on, whether it's Facebook or, like I said, Meetup or whatever, where you can look up people who do the thing you like. And it's not like just being in a bar where you're like, I got to meet somebody, and you're just randomly approaching people to talk to them. And the only thing you have in common is that you're out. This is like fine tune it to a hobby you like and know about, and you are talking to other people who have that. So you can start everything based off this spark of, we like CrossFit. I'm not a CrossFit guy. Can you believe that by this body? I know. Surprised? I'm sure you are. But, it's just you have something very specific to bond over, and you can grow that relationship. And I think it's really cool. So I'm fired up coming back from D&D tonight. I motivate you to be like, look into something that you have a hobby that you like and seek it out. I know my buddy Dan back in Spokane, he is in like 10 D&D games now online. And he started a Discord channel that has like a bunch of people in it. And I like fired me up because I was like, see, Dan gets it. Like, you can meet people in a hobby you like and just jump in even online and meet people, and you can keep in touch with them on Discord or whatever and just make friendships because it's 2025 and we got options. Before we get into this tie-in of this thing that I'm mentioning into the broader picture with it in a moment, two things, quick sports one. I guess they're both kind of sports ones. Thursday night, NBA Finals, tip-off, Oklahoma City versus the Indiana Pacers. I am 2.5, 3 hours away from Indianapolis. I so badly want to go to a finals game. I've never been this close to an NBA Finals. And it is like, it's all I could think about last night and today. I just sat there on different tickets websites looking. The tickets to go to the NBA Finals in Indiana are insane. They are through the roof. If I lived near Oklahoma City, they're still expensive, but much more reasonable. There's like the most expensive ticket in Oklahoma City. Obviously, there's no chance I'm doing this, but I like to go. Let's get extreme. $13,000. Crazy amounts of money to watch one NBA game. The most expensive ticket in Indianapolis is $52,000. What? I mean, it's wild, but I've got this feeling inside my bones. Whatever. Is that how that song goes? It goes electric, baby. I don't know. I just know that it's on Trolls, and we watch Trolls a lot in this house. This house built on Trolls. What's the Hair Up song? We've been listening to that a lot. Hair Up. Okay, back to the point. I'm fired up, right? Endorphins are firing. Great night. You should have a great night too. Find people who like doing the hobby you like to do. Get involved in it. Seek it out. It could be weird. I don't care. People love weird things, man. Okay, NBA Finals. OKC, Indiana. I'm close to Indiana. I'm cheering for the Pacers. I've got multiple reasons for this. One, they're right down the road. Two, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have more players on their team that I like than Indiana, I will never be able to cheer for them. They were my favorite franchise of all time, the Seattle Supersonics. I'm not one of the guys who's one of the former Sonics fans who's okay with looking at it and going, these were the Sonics. Like, this is kind of like a Sonics thing. That I look at it the opposite way. I'm like, this was the Sonics. It's not betrayal. This is the biggest heartbreak of my life. The Sonics moved from Seattle. This is the reason I hate them. But they've got players that I love. So I'm not cheering for them. I'm cheering for Indiana, and Indiana's going to get beat. I think OKC in 5 is my bet. OKC in 5, that's where I stand. I love the Halliburton story. Pascal Siakam's been great, but I don't think they've got the bullets in the chamber, the Pacers, to take out the Thunder. The Thunder are just an absolute well-oiled machine. I think they win the finals this year, and then it's been talked about a lot, right? You can't keep all the players, salary cap stuff. They've got just an insane amount of first-round draft picks the next couple years. They're gonna roll off 2 or 3 titles in the next 5 years, and it's gonna break my heart every freaking year. I've got a Sonics hat in here somewhere. I don't think it's close enough to grab, but it breaks my heart. Okay, the other sort of sports thing. I saw this today on Instagram. I missed the reveal, I think, yesterday of the new video. The official trailer for Happy Gilmore 2 comes out July 25th on Netflix, which is wild. Now, I was excited when they announced it, right? I was excited because Happy Gilmore, if it's not my favorite movie of all time, it's top 3. I think it's the movie I've watched the most in my life. My sister Erin and I, there was a year where we watched it multiple times a week. For about a month or two. I guess not a year, but like a month or two. We just watched it until we had it totally memorized. And then since then, I've watched it a bunch. I love Happy Gilmore. It's sports. It's Adam Sandler. It's cheesy comedy. And so I loved it. So when they announced Happy Gilmore 2, I'm kind of excited. And I'm thinking, okay, this is just going to be a sequel that's not going to be that great and whatever. And but it's going to be nostalgic. The teaser trailer that came out a little while ago, and then the official trailer that came out this weekend, I'm all in, man. I'm all in. They're just throwing out a ton of celebrities coming through. A lot of the people who were in the last movie, they're revisiting some of the jokes, judging by the trailer. I'm hyped for July 25th. Hyped. I think it's going to be, for people who loved Happy Gilmore, this is going to be a wonderful movie to watch this summer. Now, I don't know that it's going to work for new people. The reason it might work for new people is because it's got a lot of younger cameos. Bad Bunny's in it. Travis Kelce was in the new trailer. Eminem was in the new trailer. He's not really, excuse me. He's not really new, but he's newer than when the last movie came out. Bryson DeChambeau's in it. Rory McIlroy. A bunch of people who I don't know who are young actors. Kid Cudi is in it. Like, there's a lot of these cameos from people that a younger audience will be like, oh, there's that person. So that could be cool. And I weirdly think Adam Sandler has just stood the test of time as someone people are intrigued in. So I'm excited for it. Okay, Kelly's, what are you into? Let's find the button and take a drink of water.
Kelly's, what are you into?
This weekend was awesome. Went to Portland, Oregon. Went to Wildwood Golf Course with 3 of my very best friends, Jeremy, Andy, John. Spent the weekend with them, and I did not realize. I knew I needed it. I was so excited for it, but I didn't realize how much I needed it. Now, it wasn't perfect. And I think part of Jeremy came back and was like, is Sean my friend or is he a loser? I think part of that came through. We had a lot of fun on the golf course. We had a lot of fun. But these are 3 guys who I love as much as anyone. I love them. I'd give anything to see them again immediately. They're just the greatest dudes. And so it was really fun to get to go and just spend a weekend with them. I'm a terrible golfer. I think the best I golfed was a 116. The other boys, Johnny Boy is unreal right now. I don't think he went over 100. He was always in the 90s or 80s. Andy, I think he was under 100 once, and Jeremy just got right there, low 100s. I was 116 as my lowest, and then hang on, I'm getting some text messages here. Okay. The closest I got was a 116. Then I was in the 120s. So I'm just not a good golfer, but I really had fun. It was interesting for me to go into a golf event more focused on the fact I'm going to be with my buddies than the actual golf. And that helped me because normally we make this trip every year. I approach the trip as, okay, I get to hang with guys that I see all the time. I got to be good at the golf. Well, now that didn't matter because I was like, these are dudes I don't ever see. I'm going to cherish the moments, which was great. And it was, yeah, man, it was just fun. And I point this back to the beginning of the podcast where I've met these new people in Lexington I've known for a year and a half. Are they anywhere near with the friendships I have with Andy, John, and Jeremy? No, they aren't. But you have to start somewhere, right? And so there was a time in Spokane, and I will never forget it because it really affected me in a weird way. We would talk about, on the radio show, we would talk about me going out with friends because there was a lot of stories that came up for the radio show about things I would do on the weekend. Was it smart? Was it not smart? What would you have done? Weird situations that came up. And they always happened when I was out with a buddy or two. And I had a good net of friends there. And so we just talk about it, and I never thought about it But finally, like one day we got this long email about how rude it is that Slim is rubbing in our face that he has all these friends. Like the whole reason I was telling stories was just to rub it in that I got all these friends. And it rattled me because I have a lot of friends. And one of the reasons I seek them out is I don't really love not having the friends, right? And so I put a ton of effort into building relationships and doing things that I like to do to build friendships, and didn't just like times where I didn't know people and it was going to be uncomfortable. I fought through it because I knew I wanted this value of like having these friends. But that email like rattled me. And I remember like taking time from on the radio where I was like, I don't want to talk about the things I've been doing on air, even though they can lead to potentially great conversations where I did something stupid or my buddies and I did something interesting, and it can lead to like an hour's worth of content because it's a fun thing we did, and let's talk about it. Let's find out if other people have done stuff like this, like whatever. Like it was a great way to build content. And I just didn't want to do it anymore because I was like, this sucks. This sucks that instead of what I just wanted to be very innocent, turned into like me attacking people who are the furthest thing from what I ever wanted to set off. Because I know the feeling of like, if you don't have anyone around, that's an awful feeling. And to know that it was because of me talking about my friends and stuff, it was setting people off on that. Ooh, that was a rough radio span for me. And it was really hard. I had to work through that, and Kev talked to me about it, and it was weird. And I will never forget that email. I will never forget the man's name who sent it. That was like 6-7 years ago, pre-COVID. I will never forget it. So anyways, I say all that to say, I'm talking about it now on the podcast, but it was just that value of the importance of having your friends and getting to see them. And I love like the stuff I've got going on here in Lexington and everything. But, you know, there's some guys I've known for 20 years that it is nice to reconnect with. Guys I've known. I mean, I think Jeremy in 2011, and Jeremy's as near and dear to me as any single human being that walks this planet. And to get to like share a hotel room with him and eat breakfast every day with him and golf with him, you know, and he woke up early on Sunday morning, and we watched the F1 race. Never thought I'd watch an F1 race, but Jeremy's a McLaren guy because he's a bandwagon F1 guy, and he only cheers for winners. Used to be a Red Bull guy. I think he said something like that. Anyways, he just cheers for winners, and so I watched the NASCAR race with him, and it was so fun for me because I was like, he loves this. So I love this because he loves it, and his team is winning, and I get to cheer for Jeremy's team with him. And it was just awesome, dude. It was an awesome time. But great weekend. Highly recommend setting something on a calendar with friends. If you've disconnected with them, maybe moves have happened or whatever, set up a time, force it, go somewhere, meet up with them, reconnect. It's like riding a bike. Even if you haven't talked to them forever, it's like riding a bike, and it's fun. I'm trying to think if there's any stories I can relay. Andy, Johnny, Jeremy, are there any? Maybe that could be like, maybe I could have one of them on. I don't know if there's any stories. The only story I can think of that probably isn't funny on this podcast, but it was funny in the moment. The course normally very wet. This time it wasn't, but there is like a bunch of creeks that run through. And since the water wasn't as heavy, there's like a lot of the creeks were very muddy because instead of like a flow of water, it was just low water in the dirt making mud. And on one of the par threes, I hit my shot and I ended up right off the green. And it was that weird thing where I'm like, I could putt it onto the green and I know it will be on the green. Or I can chip and try to get close, but there's a chance that I blade that thing and it goes 500 miles across the green, or I short it and it goes 1 foot because I'm not good with a wedge. But Andy had his wedge. He was close to me. I'm like, dude, I'm going to try it. Can I use your wedge? So I walked over, I grabbed his wedge, and I'm walking back to the ball, and I was like, I think I want to putt. So Andy's standing over, he's going to chip his shot in, and I'm like, you know what, Andy, I thank you for the wedge. I think I'm going to putt just so I can solidify myself as on the green, and maybe I'll get close enough to try a par putt. And so instead of just walking it back, his nice wedge, I tossed it to him. Except I had been enjoying myself that day on the golf course. And the throw that I threw it looked as like it was the first time I had thrown anything. And I launched it about 20 feet away from Andy, and it landed all the way in the mud. Like, not dabbled in the mud where it's like, oh, the part of the end of the shaft or the club head ended up near the mud. It was just like you couldn't have thrown it any more perfect for it to align parallel to how the stream was going and just bury itself. So that was like one fun. That's just like, there's no other. That's the dumbest story I could tell on the podcast, but it's, I think, the only story I can tell on the podcast, besides the fact that I feel bad outing him, but John's wearing bikini underwear. Apparently Lululemon has some new underwear that's like the underwear in Christmas Vacation. Hey, Russ, look, no lines. John's wearing that. So if you see Johnny around Spokane, Johnny Drez, ask him to show you his underwear, and he'll make a believer out of you. Great weekend, though. Love those guys. Excited to do it again next year. Hoping to get another trip on the books to do something else. I have this dream in my head of getting an Airbnb in Coeur d'Alene or Spokane, getting my brother to come across the state and doing a board game weekend, and just like a game weekend where Jeremy, Travis, me, and anyone else who's really dedicated to the craft of board games can get out there and just game for 48 hours. I think that'd be really fun. All right. What a weird episode. I don't know. I got lost. I was so excited with the endorphins firing that now the 15 minutes has turned into 21, and I hope you're still here. Let's read some comments real quick. This is from the latest episode. We've got 4 of them. We start with Ian's. Burgoo is kind of like gumbo. When there's gumbo, and then there's gumbo. You're okay, fair enough. So I thought that burgoo I had was great, but maybe there's burgoo, and I need to try it. 12th man, this is Ian's continued. 12th man, despite him being a KC fan. Okay. I think we're talking about, I forget who we're talking about there. Tech 9. Oh, Tech 9. Okay. It's all one thing. This is about raising the 12th man flag. Ian says, 12th man, despite him being a KC fan, Tech 9, and that's because his daughter is a Spokane resident, so he does have ties here to Washington. Yeah, Tech 9, there was a stretch where Tech 9 played Spokane once a year, sometimes twice, and he had a house on the lower South Hill. Tech 9 was always in town. Always in town. What's his song? One of his songs I absolutely love. What is the Tech song? Hood Go Crazy. I don't even need to look it up. Hood Go Crazy. Tech 9, Hood Go Crazy? You kidding? Kimmers says this over at Spotify. Not a comment about this episode. Love them all. Need an Anna episode. And thoughts on Survivor 50 cast? I'm meh. We'll see if we can get that episode. Survivor 50 cast is something I want to talk about. She's meh about it. I'm thumbs up about it. Like I'm big thumbs up. I don't like Sari. I think Sari is doesn't do anything for me. Coach, I'm excited about. He was terrible on his comeback seasons, but I'm interested in seeing him. I love Colby. Colby was great in his first season, season 2, and then he was terrible his next seasons. Ozzy, I didn't think Ozzy was going to be invited back. There was the rumor that he made some interesting job decisions post Survivor, and I don't say this like tongue in cheek. Don't go to his Instagram or his Twitter. Don't. It's nudity, so don't do that. So I thought Ozzy was on the don't come back list, but he's back, and I love him on Survivor, so that'll be good. But I thought I was excited about the names they pulled out here. I love Christian, ready to have him come back. I don't necessarily love Angelina or Mike White. I think Xavier was on their season. I really liked Xavier. He didn't get invited. Which, by the way, the Survivor season 50 list, I feel bad because all it turns into is why didn't player X make it on? Because we all have favorite people and they couldn't invite everyone. I wanted Jesse back so bad and he didn't make it. And that's going to have to be okay because there's too many people that I would want to come back and they just weren't going to get everyone. So I'm trying to be happy with the ones they have, and I actually like the list. Rick Devens, I'm so excited about. He was on Edge of Extinction, was going to win the season, And the only reason he didn't is because they knew they had to make him make fire, and he didn't make fire fast enough, and because of that, he lost. Otherwise, he was a shoo-in winner. Shoo-in. But they got him out with fire. Jonathan Young, the big strong dude, I enjoyed him. He turned into kind of a dork at the end of the season, but I love a good redemption story. Emily started out on Survivor 45, didn't like her at all, and she was fine. By the end of her run, I was like, oh, you're enjoyable. D won Survivor 45. D's a babe, period. D's a babe. Charlie, very excited for Charlie. And one of my favorite, one of our favorite Survivor contestants ever. So happy he's coming back. Taylor Swift fan. Let's see some other highlights. Genevieve, she and D on the TV together. And I can say all these things because my wife's favorite crush is Kyle, who just won this last season. He's coming back. So, we're all excited for a lot of reasons. Some of those are D and Genevieve, and some of those are Kyle. All right. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the season 50 roster. Is it as great as it could have been? No, Kimmers, you're very right. Kimmers and I could put together a list that would have been better. I'm going to be happy about this season. Finally, Yvonne said, hope you enjoyed your golfing. Are you coming to Spokane for Hoop Fest with the family? I am not. Woods' first birthday is on Hoop Fest, and I chose Woodsy over Hoop Fest, which I think is speaking volumes to my age. I'm getting soft because I love Hoop Fest. And Sharon said, what did you think of the top 3 on Survivor? I thought Survivor ended great this season. I think it played out very well because I think that Kyle and Camilla played the best game. I think they were the best this season, period. I think Joe and Eva were really, really good. But I thought it was very fun the way it shook out, where eventually it just kind of hit everyone. Joe and Eva aren't going to win. They are not going to win. And all of a sudden, the tables kind of turned on like jury management. And you realize real quick, Joe and Eva had not done the right amount of work to win because they really hadn't been sneaky enough. They had not outwitted. They made an alliance. They stuck with the alliance. And all of a sudden, it was like, I was even saying, wow, this is crazy. No one's ever done this. This works so well. But then you realize at some point you have to outwit someone to get the jury kind of fired up about you. And Kyle and Camilla outwitted. So that was, at the end, what was going to be the difference maker. And so it came down to, I think if Camilla had made fire before Eva, I think Camilla wins. I think she would beat Kyle. But Kyle was on the Camilla team, so it was going to be one of those two, and it came down to Camilla making fire. I thought Kyle was a very good winner. I do think Camilla was more deserved, but she wasn't there. So I was glad Kyle won of the 3 that were back. I'm very thankful Joe is coming back for season 50 because I'm excited to hopefully watch him without Eva. I thought that Eva ruined Joe for me. It was like, I talked to my brother-in-law, Chris, and he made a good point. He's like, Joe has kids at home. He goes on Survivor where you're finally like not a dad and you can just be like away from the parenting side of life. And he immediately went into dad mode, which was wild. And he was a dad for 20 some days on the island. All right. He won't be hopefully on season 50. We'll get to see Joe in use a different strategy, which will be fun. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye.